Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight for the Advanced Business Planning for Farmer Veterans. We are pleased to have with us tonight Mark Cutler from SCORE and Holly Aker from VBOC of New England. I'm Amanda Fargo Johnson. I'm the Ag Programs Director, and we also have Sarah Layton from Connecticut RC&D, who's the Ag Programs Coordinator. And this program tonight is being sponsored by the Connecticut Veteran Grown. It is a 3-year program that's designed to give our state's veteran farmers marketing assistance and as well as business assistance to help them to succeed. This program is funded through a grant from the U.S. Small Business Administration, and it's being administered by the Connecticut Resource Conservation and Development, also known as Connecticut RC&D. We are a nonprofit that supports our state's farming community since 1968 through a variety of environmental and agricultural programs. So together with our Connecticut Farmer Veteran Coalition chapter here in the state and the Connecticut Department of Agriculture, we're able to provide this programming, CT Veteran Grown, as well as a farmer resource hub to provide this marketing campaign and serve our farmer veterans here in the state with technical assistance, both on the business and the marketing end. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Holly and Mark to start presentation.
Thank you. As Amanda said, my name is Holly Aker. I'm the Associate Director for the Veterans Business Outreach Center of New England, or the VBOC. We are also powered by the SBA to support veterans, service members, military spouses, our National Guard, and our reservists across all 6 New England states who are interested in starting or growing a business. Our programs are really focused around entrepreneurial development, such as business training, business advising, resource identification, and referrals. In addition, we collaborate with the USDA to present the Boots to Business Reboot for veteran beginning farmers and ranchers, which happens quarterly. Understanding that agricultural entrepreneurship is a little bit different and deserves its own focus. So we're primarily geared toward exploring business ownership in the planning stages. We're just really excited to be here with you today to talk about business planning and continuing to expand on your business plan. Mark?
Yes, I'm Mark Cutler, the Regional Vice President for SCORE, running the New England and New York states. We're working with clients, both existing and new clients across the geography, and it's free and confidential mentoring. I personally have worked with a dozen farms across New England and have a lot of interest in learning various aspects of the farmer.
All right. Our objective for this next hour is really to talk about your business plan and how it's currently working to help and grow your business. Does it clearly communicate your vision? Is it working for your business? Is your business plan helping you to make money in the way that you need it to? And finally, we're going to talk about additional resources and resource partners to support you in continuing to grow and develop your business plan.
We'd like this to be interactive, so stop us and we'll stop the presentation whenever you feel you're ready for that. Yeah, that's farming.
All right, so a business plan, as you may know, is a formal document that outlines the goals, objectives, and strategies, and it highlights your financial business model. It's meant to serve as a roadmap for your organization, providing a comprehensive overview of how the business intends to operate and how it intends to achieve its objectives. They can be used for a variety of purposes, as we've talked a little bit about before the call, including securing funding, working with investors and lenders, grant opportunities. It can also be important to just really in guiding your internal decision-making, helping you to communicate your business concept, make strategic decisions, pivot where needed, just tells you how and when to do things and with what resources. So depending on your audience, a business plan is going to have may include the majority of these 13 items. The first 5 are kind of the key basics that you might find in a lot of different variations that include your concept, a summary of the current industry, an analysis of the market kind of that you plan to compete in, your competition, and how you plan to compete and grow, and then how your economic and business model are developed, what you plan to sell, and how you plan to make money. And then 6 through 11, your marketing strategy, your management team and operations, the risks and assumptions that you're making around them, your timeline, financial projections are really all there to support you as you develop your business and support the information you're providing in those first kind of 5 pieces. And then really depending on how you're planning to use your fund or depending on the audience, if it's a lender, you might be talking about how you're going to use the money, how you might be paying it back, and then of course your executive summary. So we're going to talk about 2 ways to analyze your business plan, looking for potential gaps and opportunities using these 2 different tools. The first is a business model canvas. And you may have already worked through one of these pieces before, or you're currently using a business model canvas, either for your entire business or to look at potential different revenue streams or different markets. So if you have not started to put your business plan into a formal document, a canvas is a really great place to start. It's also a great tool for looking at all of those revenue streams for viability. It can provide a really nice visual representation of the key components and the relationships of all the different aspects of your business model. It's also a really great way to kind of help organizations analyze and communicate what your business model is in a really nice, concise, and structured way. So it all can be worked together from the canvas into the larger business plan if you're working on one, creating one, or working to revise one.
Many SCORE mentors will start off with that business canvas as opposed to a business plan. Having a one-pager, which kind of identifies where am I, where I want to be, is much less taxing on a small business, on a small farm, than a full business plan. Go ahead, Holly.
And depending on that audience, if you're looking to communicate more about your business, the one pager is a great tool for that. And if you don't need a formal large document, you can use this as a really great way to analyze what's happening in your business. So I'm not going to go into great detail on the different aspects because that was the key focus of our self-paced recorded class. But I am going to just talk through some of these key questions that it asks and highlight how you might look at your own business plan and use this canvas to help you evaluate. So if you're missing any information as you're looking through these boxes, we want to work with you to help you come to answer these questions and be sure that your business model and your economic model are meeting where we're at. So we traditionally start the business model canvas in that center box, the value proposition. This is where we define the unique value of the business or the benefit that the business offers to its customers. This could be a particular product that you have, a service that you provide. It's your solution that is solving the problem of your customer. It satisfies a need, and it's where you're creating a very special value. Jumping over to the right are customer segments. This is where we identify the specific group of customers or the market that the business aims to serve. You want to be as detailed as possible about who your best customer is and create a really nice picture of their interests, their needs, their characteristics, their behaviors. This helps us know exactly who we're marketing to, who is the customer that has the problem that we're trying to solve, and how we're going to reach them, which we do through our channels. So how do your customer segments want to be reached? Our channels determine the distribution and communication in which the business delivers its value proposition to its customers. So this could be both physical, it could be digital, it could be your direct sales, it could be the farmer's market, it could be your direct to wholesale or online platforms in e-commerce. It's all of those partnerships and how we're going to reach all of our different customers. Just above that, go ahead. I feel like were you going to say something, Mark?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the competitive advantage within the value proposition. So many small businesses come out without really understanding who is the competition and what would our advantage be. And it was a great example, Holly, of the distribution of products. The farmer's market, for example, is a whole new value stream, whole new business revenue stream. And I thought that was a great example to stop there. Well done, Holly.
When we talk about customer relationships, I always bring that back to competition as well. What is the thing that you're going to offer that's going to help you grow your business and keep your customers? And I think that you really have to look at your competition. You have to look at those channels and see what makes your business so unique that it's able to retain and grow all of its customers. Over on the left-hand side of the canvas is where we get a little bit more into our economic model. So our revenue streams, this is where we identify the sources of revenue that are generated by our business. So this should include all of the products, all of the services, all the ways that your business makes money, all of the revenue streams that are a part of your business model. And then our cost structure, down at the bottom, this defines the costs and expenses that are associated with operating your business. This should include both your fixed and your variable costs, such as your production cost, your marketing expenses, your feed, your supplies that go to your particular business model, any of those infrastructure costs and employee salaries. And then just up above those key activities is where we're going to outline the key activities and processes that the business needs to perform in order to deliver that value proposition back in the middle, that solution to the problem. So this should include your manufacturing, your marketing, research, development, your customer support, all of those pieces. And then our key partners identifies the strategic alliances, the partnerships, the collaborations, anyone that's crucial for you to be able to operate your business. This could include your distribution network, your accounting, any expertise that you bring in that allows you to complement what the business is trying to do. And then finally, our key resources. This is the critical assets and the resources that are essential for the business to operate and deliver that value proposition. This could be physical assets, intellectual property, human resources, any of those strategic partnerships that help you to be successful in creating that value. This is the basic of the business model canvas. You can find more information about this not only in our pre-recorded session, but online or with any of our resource partners. This is one tool that you can use to look at each of your revenue streams. Go ahead and work through each piece, exactly who the customer is, how you're going to reach that customer, and what is that special offering that you have that's really going to elevate who you are to be able to continue to grow those relationships. And this is a SWOT analysis. This is, I think, a really phenomenal tool that SCORE always operates really, really well. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about the SWOT analysis?
Yes, I think it's the ability to step back and analyze yourself internally. What do you do well? What don't you do well? What opportunities do you have to improve? And what are the obstacles to overcome? I'll give an example of a SWOT analysis. A dairy farm with milk prices dropping very quickly. We're looking at ourselves with the strengths that we have, the structure to do more to expand our basic product line. The weaknesses that we have is that we've identified product extensions, but it will cost us money to make it happen. Opportunities are that there are the ability to change the product line. In the case of dairy farmers, they look at cheese, they look at yogurt as an opportunity. The threat is, are there aggressive competitors out there? Are there government regulations? And one of the things that we found when we look at a SWOT analysis for a dairy farm, if they continue to stay with the current model, their profitability will decline each year, depending on pricing. As they expand into other products coming out of milk, like I mentioned, cheese and yogurt, sour cream, they've looked at the possibility to, with existing raw materials being milk, that they can get into a new product line fairly quickly. The threat, if we're not looking at it, what are the obstacles to overcome, might be competition. In the case of the farmers market, for example, many farmers are coming in with cheese and yogurts in the farmers market. If that's the place that we are looking to sell, we've got to be aware of the competition. I love this as a one-pager, Holly, same with you, that it's looking at ourselves internally and saying, really, what do we do well? Where are our weaknesses? In that example I gave, the weaknesses are that we're losing profitability. Opportunities are, wow, we've got the ability to take that milk and use it in a lot of different ways. And the threats can be addressed easily in some cases. Go ahead, Holly.
Looking at a SWOT analysis, I think then this is a blank format that you can draw out yourself and put in those boxes that are here to be able to kind of fill in. One of the things that I think is significant is to be able to come together either with colleagues or with mentors and business advisors and to really talk about this out loud. It can be really difficult to sit and think through all of the threats and to talk about the different parts where you're looking at your business and looking for those weaknesses, but they do really exist in every business. And so having someone that you can work through, pull out, bring out this information so that you can begin to look at and expand on opportunities to combat those and think through your business model on what it really succeeds in each of those areas, and continue to shift that focus over where you can to make sure that not only are you setting yourself up for success and growth, but you're combating those other pieces as well. So our business model is how your business is currently making money. It's the customer facing part. This is how your income comes in. It's the products that you sell. It's the services that you provide. It's to the primary customer, the customer that we've identified. It's what the industry is doing, that the company is competing in. And that's the one side of the business model canvas. And the economic model, this other side, that's what we want to spend a little bit more time looking at today. So the economic model is, how does the company manage the money? If you're working in a CSA and you have multiple shares, or you're selling at a farmer's market, or you're sending that over to a wholesale client, how is this all balancing, and how does it fit your full business model to get you to profitability? It's really the aspect that is the most problematic, or can be the most problematic to understand. It's always enjoyable to think about your market and how we reach our customers, and to think about talking through people and getting them more products and celebrating all the work you've had. But looking at those financial projections, looking at the piece of every revenue stream and seeing what those different expenses are and how they balance together can be much more tricky. And that's why it's so important to spend time looking at this piece in your full business plan.
It allows us to look at what if analysis as well. We change pieces of the economic model, and it results in different revenue and profitability as well. That for us, looking at that variation, what if such and such changes, what will the results be in cash flow needs, for example, in revenue streams and borrowing. Um, well explained, Holly. The economic model is really important.
And that's the part actually that we want to get into a little bit more right here is understanding the different levers that are in your economic model, using those what ifs to be able to see how it's playing together, how it's working, and what we can continue to change to get to a more sustainable economic and business model. Your economic model is the foundation for the cost, price, and the relationships to volume that can equal the sustainability for your future. It's going to help you create a competitive advantage. It's going to, and it should inform all of your management decisions. And then those what ifs that Mark said help us provide stability and consistency when we're taking all of that into consideration. And it should help you answer this question. Are you making money or are you moving money? This is a great question that we as business owners, when you're looking at your own business model and you're looking at your financials, often you're seeing money go from one place to the other. And too often that could go from your operating cash from a business credit card or a line of credit. Another example might be getting grants to help support a different piece of your business or your business model. And then that grant money running out and not having the opportunity to shift that into a business model that's actually making money. Unless you take the time to try to understand and evaluate the cost of doing business in relationship to your sales income, you're never going to get a really clear understanding of if your business is profitable. So it's really important to look at your expenses relative to your income to be able to understand, is your business profitable? If you're selling $100,000 a year in the vegetables, how do you know that that's profitable unless you know how much it cost you to make that $100,000? And we really want to help you understand that here. Mark, I have a couple of slides here that talk through the financial model. I wonder if you want to jump in here.
Well, we often understand our revenue without understanding our cost to create that revenue. The example, Holly, that you gave about producing and selling a particular vegetable, the impact of the cost in that vegetable has a big part in whether we're going to make revenue, we're going to make profit or not. The economic model of the business, the example of a revenue driver, we understand very well. The margins, which are the cost producers in that vegetable, let's say it's corn, that needs a certain amount of fertilizer. That fertilizer is 50% of the revenue stream that we're getting. We lose money on that product, where if we use the same land to farm green peas, for example, or potatoes, the amount of using fertilizer as an example, the amount of fertilizer, which is a major cost, is much less. Therefore, we can make more money. This gives us some operating leverage to understand what's the best use of the land in that example. Can you move forward, Holly? Was there another example and process with the business model and economic model? Were you going to touch on this, Holly?
Yeah, we just wanted to put together something that kind of gave us a place to talk on, including some of our own experience. So this is just a business model look at R&R Farm. Here they are at their farmers market booth on a Saturday. They their business model side. So they are a husband and wife team. They attend the farmers market, which is one of their revenue streams every week. I always like to add that they have a lot of repeat customers because Ralph has the best jokes and a really great smile, and people love talking to him, and they come every week to see what he has. And another thing they do is that Raina, she has a weekly newsletter where she uses ingredients and recipes and a website that talk about a lot of the products. So they have a huge selection of products that meets their farmers market need. They've been able to identify that. They know exactly who their customers are, and they're catering their business to them. They're working to build long-standing customer relationships there. So that's kind of some of those first pieces that we see, but some of their revenue drivers that the farm stand has, we can see that they have produce, they have eggs that are there. They also, which you can't see in the photo, but they have CSA boxes. So people come and pick up the pre-collection. They have a couple of products like the eggs that they don't have themselves on the farm, but they get from their neighbors and they bring them to the farmer's market, and that has a little bit of a different margin. So they sell those for others. And then on their farm, Raina also hosts cooking classes. So they have a couple of different revenue streams. They've diversified that a little bit for their business. So the questions that we ask when we start to think about that economic model look like, not all those items have the same margins, and they shouldn't, right? We know that. We know that each item takes different time, it takes different resources, it has different costs associated, so they have different margins for some of them. They also sell different volume. They might not sell as much of the heirloom beets as they do of the leafy greens. And so they take that into consideration. And then they have, with that, pulling those levers and thinking about that in the economic model, which of these items creates the highest operating leverage. So we're going to look a little bit more using this as an example. And Mark's going to talk a little bit more about some of these levers that you can pull in your economic model to help you get a better idea about your business.
So let's move forward. We talked a little bit about the plot of land that we have and the different products that can be produced on that farmland, what the pricing looks like, what the cost looks like, and what the net profit would be. So in this example, we were looking at a particular product that we were getting $4 a pound for. We had volume that we were assuming of 600 per month. That meant $2,400 in revenue in sales. Looking at the variable cost of the bins, the signage, the labor, which we were assuming to be $15 an hour, and the cost of production being labor, seed, soil, we ended up with variable costs of $760, a gross margin of $1,600. But there were costs that were going to be fixed no matter what we were selling in terms of volume. And those would be something like transportation, insurance, and rental space. So we end up with fixed costs of $745. If we're selling more of this product, we're able to make more revenue because those fixed costs aren't changing. So currently, the $895 over the 2,400 in sales is about a 35% profit margin, which is good in this business. The ideal is to grow the top line so that the net profit line is improving because the fixed costs do not change. I think this was a great model for the R&R farm stand. Good one, Holly.
And we have an example of what that looks like here in increasing your sales volume.
So in this case, we said we've increased our sales. The fixed costs have stayed the same, and that $895 is nearly doubled to $1,900 in net profit. And we know what we're trying to do here. We're trying to increase revenue utilizing our fixed costs, and the variable cost is just that. And we are making profit margin in this case of nearly 40% versus the 30% in the model before, just based upon getting higher volume out. Next slide. The improved sales margin in this case, we saw that the fixed cost of $745 is now being spread over a much higher revenue stream. So that gave us net profit of $2,200, almost 50% profit margin on those sales. We know what we want to do here. We want to increase revenue to take advantage of the fixed costs that we have in running the business. The revenue can be increased with the current product line, or in the example that Holly gave earlier, they're selling chocolate chip cookies, for example. They're selling other non-farm products, and that is all contributing to a higher net profit margin. Next slide. So the economic model, understanding it, the many ways do we have to generate sales. I thought it was a great example where that one distribution point could have 6 farm products, or it could have 6 farm products and 6 non-farm products that people were coming by and looking at the stall and saying, wow, I would love that. The margins, what's left after each unit of sale to pay the fixed cost, the percentage of sales. We really look, especially when we're running a business where cash flow is important, what do we need to do to break even? How many units do we have to sell in each period to break even or make a worthwhile profit margin? And the leverage is keeping a low operating, keeping a relatively low variable cost to manage risk and maintain liquidity. Understanding your economic model, very key.
It's really easy to look at your sales and your profitability at the end of going to market and seeing, I have that $2,400 that I sold and I got rid of all my produce and all of my materials. But if you don't understand how everything relates and plays together, it's nearly impossible to know if your business is making money. And if you don't have the opportunity to analyze all of those pieces, when any sort of crisis may come, or you're trying to plan and be future thinking about your business, when you're assessing risk or looking at new revenue streams that might come up, it's really important to kind of see how all of these different pieces play together for each of those items to understand if your business can manage taking on that new revenue stream, or should you keep investing your time in that aspect of the business. If what is happening is you're going to market and you're selling it, but it's taking you, month after month, you're spending this money to get the farmer's market booth. And sometimes people come and sometimes people don't. And looking at the way all of those expenses might play together and say, what I really need to be doing is not focusing on going to the market, but really focusing on building up this wholesale relationship where I have a higher margin and my volume is much higher, or I can focus on this other piece of the business that really makes more sense. And that is the important part of understanding your business plan, is the being able to understand how it's working for you. How is your business model, those customer relationships, the different channels that you're trying to reach, are they working for your business? Does each of those channels result in the sales that you need to help meet that economic model side, where you're balancing out your costs and your margins and your volume? Is it make sense, that particular revenue stream or that channel, or targeting even that particular customer? Or is there a different need or a solution that you want to be driving towards? These are all some of the key pieces that help you to understand if your business model is working for you to help you grow your business. And then these are just some of the key takeaways from what we've been talking about, which is your business plan really needs to be a roadmap for your business. It helps you identify your value proposition, who your customers are, and how you're reaching them. What are those sales channels? And are those sales channels working for your business? A good business plan is going to answer those what ifs. It's going to help you to cement your decision making, help you understand if things are there's the potential for really strong opportunity with each of your revenue drivers. It's really important that you can take each of those and look through each of those segments and see how it's working for you. And then really understand each of those levers of your economic model, the revenue drivers, the margins, the volume, and the operating leverage, and how you can pull those different levers, potentially based on all of your different sales channels, markets, and products, to help you really pursue profitability so that you can certainly be making money and not moving money. And here's a couple of great resources, including some of the resource partners of the Small Business Administration that can support you in talking through your business model. As we mentioned when we were looking at the Canvas and the SWOT analysis, you really want to build a team around these questions to be able to have that extra perspective, or that can help you with the market research or help you explore the different sales channels. Help you look through your financials, look at those financial projections, see if there's any areas that you might be missing or that you want to add to, or questions that you want to be asking. And so here's some great places that you can go to, including SCORE, which has been partnering with the USDA to support entrepreneurs looking to specifically work in agriculture. Each state has a women's business center, great places for resources, community building, and networking. Your Small Business Development Center, which has a wonderful opportunity to access trainings, workshops, work in localized, specific support around your community. Great place to go for market research. Our Veterans Business Outreach Center, supporting our veteran entrepreneurs throughout the country looking to grow and build their business with, again, specialized resources, workshops, and trainings. And then a couple of tools to work on building your Canvas if that's helpful.
And I think going back to the previous slide, one other takeaway is our experience in working with farmers is cash flow is really, really important. And so building a business plan and measuring performance against that business plan allows you to understand the as is and the to be of what if this continues, where is the cash going to come from? If it continues, what am I going to do with that cash? The really the most important part of a business plan is the ability to measure performance once it's been put into place. A business plan is not something that you put in a drawer and don't see again. It's something that is a constant measure of performance. And our experience is the most important part is cash flow, especially in startup businesses, startup farms, and those in the early stages. Just wanted to put that on the table too, Holly, before we left it.
No, thank you. That's a really great point and really important. These are all areas that a team that can come around you from any of these resource partners can support you in that conversation, not only looking at your cash flow, but supporting you in digging in further deeper to your business plan and seeing how each step can work together.
So we can stop recording here and open it up for questions.
Thank you all for joining us for this business planning webinar. Thank you to both Holly from VBOC and to Mark from SCORE. Just as a reminder to our farmer veterans, we do have a resource available to you, and that is at ctveterangrown.org. This website is available to farmers to come on. We have a searchable map where you can sign up and get your farm listed. We also have some Meet the Farmer features, and we have some podcasts that we recently participated in that you can listen to. And then all of these webinars and pre-recorded trainings that we've been offering to our farmer veterans are available here under the Farmer Resource tab. You can click on the Resource Hub and scroll down the page, and you will find some of the other marketing and website development webinars that we've hosted, as well as the other business and outreach webinars that were hosted, pre-recorded by VBOC and SCORE. And then we'll be posting the one that we have recorded this evening. So be sure to come to ctveterangrown.org, click under the Farmer Resources tab at Resource Hub, and you'll be able to find all the previously recorded trainings and webinars that are available for you. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Be happy to help you. Take care.